Welcome to Lesson 5 of A Course in Miracles. We'll start with a page and a half of the preface of just before the text of A Course in Miracles. Then we'll do the Lesson 5. Then we'll do the Jesus commentary for Lesson 5. Here we go. Just let me retrack a little bit from where I was yesterday so we remember where we're up to, because we weren't quite finished through the mini sub-chapter of what it says. Okay, so, pardon me, I'll just start the paragraph before the last page and a half. Sin is defined as lack of love. Since love is all there is, sin, in the sight of the Holy Spirit, is a mistake to be corrected rather than an evil to be punished. Our sense of inadequacy, weakness, and incompletion comes from the strong investment in the scarcity principle that governs the whole world of illusions. From that point of view, we seek in others what we feel is wanting in ourselves. We love another in order to get something ourselves. That, in fact, is what passes for love in the dream world. There can be no greater mistake than that, for love is incapable of asking for anything. Our minds can really join, and whom God has joined, no man can put asunder. It is, however, only at the level of Christ mind that true union is possible, and has, in fact, never been lost. The little I seeks to enhance itself by external approval, external possessions, and external love. The self that God created needs nothing. It is forever complete, safe, loved, and loving. It seeks to share rather than to get, to extend rather than project. It has no needs and wants to join with others out of their mutual awareness of abundance. The special relationships of the world are destructive, selfish and childishly egocentric. Yet, if given to the Holy Spirit, these relationships can become the holiest things on earth, the miracles that point the way to the return to heaven. The world uses its special relationships as a final weapon of exclusion and a demonstration of separateness. The Holy Spirit transforms them into perfect lessons in forgiveness and in awakening from the dream. Each one is an opportunity to let perceptions be healed and errors corrected. Each one is another chance to forgive oneself by forgiving the other. And each one becomes still another invitation to the Holy Spirit and to the remembrance of God. Perception is a function of the body, and therefore represents a limit on awareness. Perception sees through the body's eyes and hears through the body's ears. It evokes the limited responses which the body makes. The body appears to be largely self-motivated and independent, yet it actually responds only to the intentions of the mind. If the mind wants to use it for attack in any form, it becomes prey to sickness, age, and decay. If the mind accepts the Holy Spirit's purpose for it instead, It becomes a useful way of communicating with others, invulnerable as long as it is needed, and to be gently laid by when its use is over. Of itself, it is neutral, as is everything in the world of perception. Whether it is used for the goals of the ego or the Holy Spirit depends entirely on what the mind wants. The opposite of seeing through the body's eyes is the vision of Christ, which reflects strength rather than weakness, unity rather than separation, and love rather than fear. The opposite of hearing through the body's ears is communication through the voice for God, the Holy Spirit, which abides in each of us. His voice seems distant and difficult to hear because the ego, which speaks for the little, separated self, seems to be much louder. This is actually reversed. The Holy Spirit speaks with unmistakable clarity and overwhelming appeal. No one who does not choose to identify with the body could possibly be deaf to his messages of release and hope, nor could he fail to accept joyously the vision of Christ in glad exchange for his miserable picture of himself. Christ's vision is the Holy Spirit's gift, God's alternative to the illusion of separation and to the belief in the reality of sin, guilt, and death. It is the one correction for all errors of perception, the reconciliation of the seeming opposites on which this world is based. Its kindly light shows all things from another point of view, reflecting the thought system that arises from knowledge and making return to God not only possible, but inevitable. What was regarded as injustices done to one by someone else now becomes a call for help and for union. Sin, sickness, and attack are seen as misperceptions calling for remedy through gentleness and love. Defenses are laid down because where there is no attack, there is no need for them. Our brothers' needs become our own because they are taking the journey with us as we go to God. Without us, they would lose their way. Without them, we could never find our own. Forgiveness is unknown in heaven, where the need for it would be inconceivable. However, in this world, forgiveness is a necessary correction for all the mistakes that we have made. To offer forgiveness is the only way for us to have it, for it reflects the law of heaven that giving and receiving are the same. Heaven is the natural state of all the sons of God as He created them. Such is their reality forever. It has not changed because it has been forgotten. Forgiveness is the means by which we will remember. Through forgiveness, the thinking of the world is reversed. The forgiven world becomes the gate of heaven, because by its mercy we can at last forgive ourselves. Holding no one prisoner to guilt, we become free. Acknowledging Christ in all our brothers, we recognize His presence in ourselves. Forgetting all our misperceptions, and with nothing from the past to hold us back, we can remember God. Beyond this, learning cannot go. When we are ready, God Himself will take the final step in our return to Him. Okay, so we will move to the lesson, and tomorrow we'll start with the Course in Miracles text. Lesson 5. I am never upset for the reason I think. This idea, like the preceding one, can be used with any person, situation, or event you think is causing you pain. Apply it specifically to whatever you believe is the cause of your upset, using the description of the feeling in whatever term seems accurate to you. The upset may seem to be fear, worry, depression, anxiety, anger, hatred, jealousy, or any number of forms, all of which will be perceived as different. This is not true. However, until you learn that form does not matter, each form becomes a proper subject for the exercises for the day. Applying the same idea to each of them separately is the first step in ultimately recognizing they are all the same. When using the idea for today for a specific perceived cause of an upset in any form, use both the name of the form in which you see the upset and the cause which you ascribe to it. For example, I am not angry at Megan for the reason I think. I am not afraid of public speaking for the reason I think. But again, this should not be substituted for practice periods in which you first search your mind for sources of upset in which you believe, and forms of upset which you think result. In these exercises, more than in the preceding ones, you may find it hard to be indiscriminate and to avoid giving greater weight to some subjects than to others. It might help to precede the exercises with the statement, there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. Then, examine your mind for whatever is distressing you, regardless of how much or how little you think it is doing so. You may also find yourself less willing to apply today's idea to some perceived sources of upset than to others. If this occurs, think first of this: I cannot keep this form of upset and let the others go. For the purposes of these exercises, then, I will regard them all as the same. Then search your mind for no more than 1 minute or so, and try to identify a number of different forms of upset that are disturbing you, regardless of the relative importance you may give them. Apply the idea for today to each of them, using the name of both the source of the upset as you perceive it and of the feelings as you experience it. Further examples are: I'm not worried about Jim for the reason I think. I am not depressed about work for the reason I think. 3 or 4 times during the day is enough. So that's the instructions for lesson 5. I'm not actually doing them online with you because, as I said yesterday, I'm actually focusing on lesson 4 myself, doing lesson 4. I'm simply recording, but I'm not investing in the next lesson, so that this one can be downloaded in the early hours of the morning, and it doesn't really matter where you are in the world. Hopefully as many people as possible who want to join us here in the A Course in Miracles lessons, doing them together, can join in, irrespective of what their other obligations are and so on. Mums and dads with children, and you can do it at a time that suits you and you have some peace and quiet and can concentrate. Something else I'll mention as well, so they do get right into it. Jesus does get right into the lessons. He doesn't hold back. He's just going right into it. So with things like this, it's great to actually have something to go by when you're doing a lesson. You can reread it and take your time. Don't panic if you don't think you're doing it exactly right. Just do the best you can. Your intention is everything, all right? So it is great to have the actual text. Jesus does encourage us over and over again to actually get the physical text so that you can read it, so that if power should not be available or Wi-Fi goes down, you can still sit out under a tree, which he does advocate for as well, when the weather permits. Sit outside with your bottom on the ground, especially these days. Not only are you grounding, but you're sort of energetically giving back to the earth as well at this time, and she really needs all the support she can get, just like we do. So let's not forget her. Alright, that's my little rant for lesson 5. So since I haven't done the lesson yet, but what you can do is go to I forgot to hold this up again, didn't I? I meant to do this before I do the lesson, and then I just do the commentary last. Alright, we're going to move to the commentary last, so just go to 17.5 minutes, back to the beginning of this lesson if you don't want to listen to the reading at the beginning of the video. So probably about 10 or 11 minutes in, maybe a little bit longer for this one. Do the lesson, and then just do come back to the video after you've done your lesson and finish listening to I'll get it right in a minute. Finish listening to A Year of Forgiveness, Jesus commentary for each lesson. Okay, and I've been forgetting to show you Renee Phillips' illustrations as well. So lesson 5, I'm never upset for the reason I think. Let me see if I can actually show you the actual thing and not show it to you this time. So it's there, I think. Really cute little illustrations. I love them. I think they're awesome. I'm not sure what she used, watercolors or something. I am never upset for the reason I think. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. It is important for you to understand that most of the things that upset you are not at all what you think. Your anger when another driver cuts you off, or the look somebody gives you that makes you feel terrible, are fictitious opportunities for separation that the ego uses to keep you alone, fearful and powerless. When you begin to understand how your mind affects your feelings affect your behavior, and your behavior affects your life, you will understand the importance of this mind training program. Some people do not like that phrase, so I want to address it. You have been in a deeply convoluted mind training program your whole life through your cultural and religious teachings, school systems, and television. I will slow that down. You have been You have been in a deeply convoluted mind training program your whole life through your cultural and religious teachings, school systems, and television. All these are mind training programs. Many of your behaviors do not come from a place of free will and choice. They come from the mind training programs deeply embedded in your personality. When you view the world, you see it through a multiplicity of lenses. Many of them, most in fact, are not your own and do not hold up to the values you know are good, right, and true. Because you've never gone into your mind and excavated these little upsets. You do not know what your mind is made of. You do not know what ingredients your mind uses to bake the cake for the day, for each day. All the fears your parents instilled in your mind and the superficial values your society added through television have become the value systems through which you view the world. You may not watch television now, but trust us, you have had thousands of hours of indoctrination from various sources. Each has put its values in your mind. This version of A Course in Miracles brings you back to the truth, but it takes a while. So here, on day 5, we congratulate you for showing up. We thank this being, the channel, Tina Louise Spaulding, writer of, channeler of this book, for stepping into her role as teacher, facilitator, and channel to assist you in your journey toward love and home to truth. Your mind becomes increasingly peaceful as you eliminate these beliefs and ideas. Your heart opens more. You become more generous. You will not lose your personality, only some of the sharp edges and darker corners of it, the shadows. So stick with these lessons, and we will see you tomorrow for lesson 6. See you tomorrow, loved ones. Namaste.